But you worked on other projects.
Yeah.
You got into work alongside Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You worked on the Fade to Black album. What was that like without, having to release too much about?
No, I could talk about it, but I mean, all right. So what I had did some work with Rockefeller before I did BDC, was EPK. I shot Freeway for the first time. I did Jay's Blueprint, the first Blueprint album commercial for BET. So I did stuff with Rockefeller. So when the time came for him doing the Black album, they called on me because they wanted somebody that he could trust to document the making of the Black album. So it wasn't Fade to Black when we were doing it. I was just documenting the making of the album. So that's 4 months from the start of him coming in the studio for the first time, listening to tracks, all the way up to the release of the album. Now, so many interesting facts about that I mean, I could tell stories right there.
Did you have to sign like a release and not like on some really confidential, like I can't say anything?
Let me set the what was happening. It was 2003. Him and Beyoncé was still on the low. So yeah, I had to kind of shut my mouth. To this day, I'm shutting my mouth on so many things.
Wow. You know what I mean?
But so yeah, first day, sitting in there, I get in these rooms and I get in these things, man. And when you're in it, you don't have the time to comprehend what's happening. That's what I don't like. Chief Keef, I gotta say that. But that's what I don't. No, I ain't gonna say I don't like it, but I mean that's the consequence of getting in these situations. Is like you get in there, you gotta be professional, you gotta be in your zone, you gotta get them done. That I miss out on indulging in the time of what the hell is happening to me. You understand? I take it in afterwards. But yeah, I mean, the first time I flew on a private jet, they was laughing at me on the plane. It was like, "Oh, we popping your cherry." Another interesting story. Felt like you were an
intern again?
Nah, I mean, cause that was you talk about. I spent every single day with this dude for that 4 months that he was making that album.
And is it like, you're flying on a private jet, you're with, if Jay, Beyonce, if they're together, are they still humble? Or what?
Yeah, I as a witness will sit here and say them two are supposed to be together. She has control of him, he has control of her. I've witnessed it. It's so funky, man. Like so many times, it was times that it was me, him, and her in the studio together.
Did you feel
and
like
they didn't tell me to leave. And I'm sitting there like, am I supposed to? What the fuck? Mind you, this is when they was keeping this a secret. So I'm like, yo, what the? I'm sitting. I wasn't even filming.
But you're like a little kid that got a big secret. That
I'm just sitting there and they talking to me. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing in this room? Yo, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, so it was bug. But I guess, time they developed that trust that and Tata gave me a big compliment. He was like, we like you, man, because you don't talk. I could have went anywhere and spilled the beat, because like I said, they was keeping that shit a tight secret.
But that's what the industry's about, is building trust, right?
Yeah. So, an interesting thing that happened, 2 interesting stories I do want to make sure I tell about that whole experience, is on my birthday, I turned 30, telling my age. I turned 30. That day I turned 30, we flew out to South Beach. So we were staying in South Beach. He was working with Timberland, doing Dirt Off the Shoulder. I think it was about like the 3rd night in. It was midnight hit. It was my birthday. This dude Jay got Tata without. They want 3 bottles of Cristal. First time I drank Cristal, whatever. But that midnight hit. Pop the bottle off. He was like, oh, we gotta celebrate. Pop the bottle off. I'm in the studio bringing in my 30th birthday with Timbaland, Jay-Z. And they welcomed me into my 30s. I was like, what the fuck is
That's
going
gotta
on
be
with
the
this
best
shit,
30th birthday ever, I assume, right?
Yeah. And I missed it because the next day, like, Denzel came by and I missed it. And he was like, you gonna kick your ass for that. And I was like, yeah, what happened? He was like, yo, Denzel was here. I was like, because I think
you had that much Cristal that you didn't realize Denzel?
No. It's just that I think they were closing out that night. So, you know, when they finished the session, we all go back to the hotel and whatever. He got the call and wound up going back, but nobody called me. So I was just like pissed off at that. So North Carolina, met Knife Wonder. This was a year before Fade to Black. You know, this dude was playing these beats. I was like, yo, who is this dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? The beats was just like phenomenal to me. He had did the Godson remix. He did God's Stepson, I think it was, or something. It's like a mixtape with his beats over Nas's Godson lyrics. That album that came out. All right, so, you know, after going back for a meeting with them, it was like, yo, man, you know, if any, you know, somebody needs to hear you. Because at this time, I didn't know they had a group, Little Brother, out already, that they was already getting some traction. So, you know, that time goes by. So fast back forward up to Fade to Black. You know, Black Album, I'm shooting that. And so I wound up, Young Guru also got back cool, Young Guru, who's an engineer. So me and him always had music talks at the end of the night and all this other stuff. So I don't know how the conversation about Little Brother came up. He winds up being a super big fan of Little Brother. I'm like, I know them, you know what I'm saying? Boom. Got them on the phone with him. So him and Knife Wonder met, you know, on the phone. I'm putting two and two together in my head like, yo, get this dude. If he came out here, like, I can, you know, bring him into the studio, you know what I'm saying? And maybe he could play some beats for Jay, because Jay was looking for beats. Worked it out with Guru. We set it up. Knife came out. I was like, got him on the phone. He tells this story magnificently. Like, he tells it from, like, the day, it was a hurricane that day. And he was like, I got the call. It was like, yo, you know, somebody's interested in hearing the beats. Like, who? He's like, Jay-Z. He's just stop playing. You know what I'm saying? Convinced him. 2 days later, he came out, excited. You know, got him in the studio, played beats for Jay. I remember that shit, and I wish that story could be told in its own thing. When Jay stops the music after, like, you know, a bunch of beats he's listening to, just like constantly, like, what, you know. Stops and he stops like, yo, what's your story, man? Like, he was just amazed by him. He was like, yo, I'm just a dude that likes to make good music, boom, boom. So they, you know, another hour of listening to beats, boom, boom. What winds up happening is Jay tells him, yo, I have an idea for this beat, this song called Threat that I wanted to do. Told him, you know, what sample he wanted to use. Knife winds up staying that week. Does Threat, number 8 on the Black Album. Cedric the Entertainer stops by one day and winds up getting on the track, and that's how that came about. So in a way, I had my little part of that album. You know what I'm saying?
In other words, I'm official. I never go out like a wet piece of tissue. Rough and rugged, stronger than Bounty. New York is the city. Bronx